We'll have a moment of silent meditation and pledge to the flag. Thank you. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'm going to call this meeting of the Monongalia County Commission to order. Let the record reflect that all three commissioners are present. First item on the agenda is consent and approval with our county administrator, Renetta McClure. Welcome back, Renetta.
Thank you. We have 3 requests for replacement tickets for $89,300. 3 requests to create new tax statements for $925.76. 36 exonerations for $26,179.66. Minutes from August 18th, 2021. Vouchers, General County Fund, $124,807.71. 911, $10,496.05. Chestnut Ridge Park, $1,032.67. Camp Muffley, $963.28. Mason-Dixon Park, $148.47. Transportation levy, $96,021.76. Library levy, $23,568.02. Reallocated coal, $22,000. Assessor's valuation, $119.58. Payroll, $988,819.88. Purchasing card vouchers, General County, $20,737.88. 911, $215.23. Camp Muffley, $373.02. And assessor's valuation, $621.85 for a voucher total of $1,289,925.40. We have no budget revisions to approve this week. Position vacancies for boards and authorities are listed on our website, and fiduciary orders for August 25th, 2021.
Motion for approval.
So moved. Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, consent agenda is approved.
Thank you.
Any separate fiduciary items?
No, sir.
Okay. Introduction of new employees, personnel changes.
I just had one. Came in after the agenda was put together. CASA, who is in conjunction with the Mon County Youth Services Center, has hired a full-time volunteer supervisor, Randy Carpenter, and she is going to start on September 1st for a salary of $35,000 annually with benefits.
Okay, do I have a motion to approve?
So moved. Second.
Okay, we have first and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay. Next item on the agenda is comments from the public. Now open the comments from the public agenda item, and anybody wishing to approach the commission may come forward, state your name and address for the record, and welcome.
Good morning. My name is David Goldberg, President and CEO of Mon Health System, 1200 J.D. Anderson Drive, Morgantown. I'm here on behalf of myself and Albert Wright, who had a conflict today and asked me to extend his compliments to the commission. We wanted to update the commission and the public about our recent decision to align with the West Virginia Hospital Association to require vaccinations of our employees. We will allow medical and religious exemptions for those people who qualify. I'm proud to say that we are in alignment on our medical exemption criteria and religious exemption criteria. We're also aligned on the time frame. Both WVU Medicine is asking their employees to be vaccinated by the 31st of October. We are asking our employees to be vaccinated for COVID-19 by the 1st of November. We also both are aligned on typical flu vaccination requirements by the 2nd of December. So we believe it's important to lead by example. I've shared many times publicly, I am vaccinated, my family's vaccinated. We think it's our opportunity to do our part to reduce the threat of significant illness, also to reduce the risk of spreading it to others. Today at Mon Health Medical Center, we have 12 people with COVID. 10 of the 12 did not have vaccination. 4 people are on ventilator. So we are seeing more significant presentation of significant respiratory distress. I learned from Dr. Smith at a Board of Education meeting last night, what we're seeing are people are more clustering and passing it than what we saw with the original strain of the COVID-19 virus. So it is ironic the FDA approved Pfizer the day we were announcing. That was not timing. That just was, I think, a very nice happenstance. But we were going to do it anyway. I think that helps. We do offer our employees Pfizer. We do also offer our patients vaccination in our facilities, as I know WVU Medicine does as well. So we wanted to share with you what's happening over the next few months. We do know there's some consternation from some. We had a town hall at 7:30 this morning with our staff. We had 400 people register to talk. We're doing another one this evening. We are doing town halls. We are doing meetings one-on-one. And my doctors are 95% vaccinated. I think that speaks volumes. If the doctors are, why aren't the rest of us? So we are making them available to our staff. Very good, thoughtful questions. But we do believe it's important, and we are moving forward with that. With that, open up any questions to the commission, and thank you for your
Move to suspend the
leadership.
rules.
Second. First and second, all those in favor say aye.
Aye. I have a
Okay.
general question first.
Yeah.
People are asking, could you explain about boosters? Because
Yeah.
there's confusion, who can get it, when can they get
Yeah.
it, what is basically the
Yeah.
information
So
we should
again,
get out?
I am not clinical. So I want to preface that.
Yes.
I play doctor during the day. So we have been told that by the federal government, as of the 20th of September, which is about 8 months after many of us had our first vaccinations, we will be allowed to provide a booster. Why are we doing that? The government is believing, and I think there's some CDC guidance, that all of us, our bodies are different, metabolism is different, resistance and antibody development are different. The third shot will be available after that time. Before that, CDC and the FDA have come out and said those who are immune compromised, significant comorbidities, heart transplant patients, etc., believe it is important to give them that extra boost with a booster. That is under their doctor's advice, along with guidance and approval from the CDC and FDA. So there's two patterns. One is you're immune compromised. Then in the future, it'll be people like me who
Okay.
was vaccinated December and second shot in January. 8 months later is on or around September the 20th. I would be eligible for it. We are working on that right now as we get more governmental guidance.
Okay. I have other questions, but I'll let others.
Go ahead.
Oh, okay.
Please.
I personally want to thank you, and I know the county commission wants to thank both you and WVU, Mon Health, for taking a strong stand. We started the process, we've been discussing this for months. We came up with our first plan of action, and I know President Sikora has already contacted WVU to get more information about your rules and regulations, because the more you do it, we do it, hopefully the cities do it, then we can get more people vaccinated. And it's something that I'm adamant on, and also the mask wearing. So again, we want to thank you for your stand on that. The third thing is a little bit different. Since you were here, we have been discussing that we've been wanting to get WVU, Mon Health back with the EMS to just talk about general issues, where we're at, what's
Sure.
going on. I know I've been receiving numerous calls, unfortunately, that the emergency room is starting to fill up. There's wait lines, and I'd like to talk about
Sure.
what we could possibly do, collaborate to get that moving quicker. And I know Jeff has received those calls too. And again, it's working real well, but we can always fine tune it. So I don't know if you want to.
Yeah, if I can make some quick
Sure.
comments on it. So first on your comments about the COVID vaccine. I wish I could say that we were leading the way to be first. It's a very contentious issue. I think you all know about Houston Methodist in Texas that got up to the Supreme Court. Supreme Court approved their ability to mandate or require vaccinations as a condition of employment. We've been doing this in West Virginia with the flu for years in healthcare. This isn't new. It is newer technology, but for the record, RNA, the type of virus, has been investigated and researched for more than 20 years. The coronavirus, strains of it, MERS, SARS, have been reviewed since 2002. So while COVID-19 is new, the review by the FDA and CDC is not in this area, and we believe that it's important for us to lead to eradicate the public health emergency. So I appreciate the comments. Others around us, the governor of Pennsylvania mandated healthcare workers employed by the state to be vaccinated. The Veterans Administration. The state of Maryland last Wednesday mandated all of their healthcare workers. The federal government just mandated nursing homes that receive federal reimbursement are mandating that their employees be vaccinated. We're doing our part here, and I'm proud to say, and on many issues, Albert and I are completely aligned. Our doctors have been sharing protocols and pathways. We want to make it easy for staff who work in both places and in general to have commonality in how we're doing it to reduce the confusion. As for EMS and ERs, I'm here to tell you, for the last 3 to 4 months in particular, we have seen a significant uptick in hospitalizations, not just COVID. I can tell you we are 164 beds in the medical center. We have a 25-bed long-term acute care hospital. That has been full since it opened. The hospital, we usually run about 40-50% full in the summer. We're running 75 to 80%. The emergency room is seeing anywhere from 80 to 150 people a day. Yesterday, when I left to go to the Board of Education meeting, there were 9 ambulances coming in from not just our county, but we are now seeing patients like WVU Medicine, Ruby typically does. We're seeing patients coming from Gilmer County. We have patients coming from Welch. I have patients coming from Pocahontas. I have patients coming from Southwest Pennsylvania, where there's no access. We're getting calls to transfer patients to our hospitals from Pennsylvania and Maryland, which is not customary for the medical center, but it definitely is for Ruby. So I think the conversation is a good time to have it. I do have experience in Pennsylvania, Virginia, Texas on how to decompress emergency rooms, working with our EMS partners, because minutes matter. The longer they have to wait in an ER to take a patient out of their custody into a bed or a gurney in an ER leaves an area of the community underserved, and we have to do better. And we look forward to conversing with you on what your thoughts are.
Thank you. And just to clarify, I believe there's two components to what Commissioner Bloom's asking for. One is a regular update of the EMS services.
Sure.
And, lead times, those type of things, have the discussion on how those are progressing and where we currently stand. So that's one thing. Then the emergency room is something.
Yes.
If you were in Albert or there to talk about the EMS, you're also there to talk about,
Yeah,
maybe
we're
you can
welcome
address that
anytime,
issue.
and I know with Mr. Smith on the board of Mon EMS with us, we're glad, and we share all that data at every quarterly meeting. We're glad to sit anytime you like us to.
Okay. And on the other thing, I did reach out to Albert as soon as they announced, as soon as both you announced, and for a copy of what they had put in place, and he
We're
did.
glad to share everything with you.
He's forwarded everything over to us.
Wonderful.
Because we had been talking about this for a long time. Assessor Music's back there. He will attest it. We've been talking about where do we do next? What are some of our steps? And we had gotten to the point where we had some drafts that we share with our legal counsel, but everybody was saying wait till it's, the FDA clears the drug for regular use, or whatever that designation is. So anyway.
One thing, if I can add, that we did not take a position on in our criteria is you'll have some people say, well, I had COVID, I have antibodies, does that negate me from taking the vaccine? No. We are not using that as an opportunity for people not to get the shot. There are time frames from when you were COVID, your final symptom of COVID, 90 days after. That's when we're encouraging people to get their vaccine. So we're glad to share all of that with you.
Okay.
That's fantastic.
Well, thank you so much, Jeff. Do you have any? Okay. All right. Well, thank you.
Thank you.
David.
Let us know when you like to meet on the other issue. We're glad to make our
Okay,
schedules
we'll set
available.
that up.
All right. Thank
Thank you, everybody.
Thank
Have a
you.
good day.
Thanks, Dave.
Thanks.
Have a good day.
Do we have anybody else who'd like to talk in public session? Okay. Seeing none, go ahead and close public session. Next item on the agenda is a public hearing for the, it's a second reading and public hearing regarding Monongalia County Planning Commission Resolution PO 4-21 for amendment to the West Run Planning District zoning map designation from low-density R1 and high-density R4 to general commercial C2 of property legally described as Union District Tax Map 12, Parcel 50, and Tax Map 21, Parcels 1, 1.1, 1.2, 1.3, 1.5, 1.6, and 2. Okay, so we will have our public meeting. I'm going to gavel us into the public comment for this meeting. First part is I'm not going to reread the text amendment. I just read it, but I will call for a presentation from the staff report and report on any communications received. Did we receive, the office, did we receive any communication on this text amendment? Okay. All right. So I'll call on the applicant to present his petition and all evidence supporting this request.
Hello, my name is Andrew Gasper. I'm the Director of Planning for the county. This is looking for an approval to amend the land use district designations for 9 parcels, as you described, from low-density residential and high-density residential to general commercial. The main applicant is Croesus Morgantown Holding, and along with another parcel owner, Mamoun El Dahir, also in agreement with the main applicant. There are another 4 parcels that you can see on the map, and those are included to avoid spot zoning. We try to make it a cluster that makes sense. The application at hand is also associated with variances that have been granted. The staff recommended approval, as did the Planning Commission. All comments up to the hearing for the Planning Commission were either for clarification or also favorable. So we have had no registered challenge of this particular request. It makes sense. The reason that staff and the Planning Commission ruled in this way is that it reflects the uses that are there now. It is more reflective of the use of the neighborhood. There are only 2 parcels that were not in the original application that are single-family detached on separate parcels. They had been notified and they had no complaints about this. And this is good timing because of our work on Van Boris, which is a regional effort run by the DOH and our MPO, trying to coordinate. So the fact that we are addressing at the same time that we're improving Van Boris in the design of Van Boris, knowing what the current and more appropriate and use for this area seems like good planning, and everybody was in favor of that. The other aspect I think we should mention is that this portion of Van Boris is not yet designed. So it's a good time to coordinate and make sure it all works together ahead of the time instead of after the fact. Since the MCPC meeting, we have had also no comments, so we look to you all.
Okay. All right, well, thank you very much. I'll now call on anybody who is in support of the request to come forward and make their opinion known. Okay, seeing none. I'll call on anybody that's opposed to request to come forward and make their opinions known. Okay. Since there's no rebuttal is required and there's no back and forth that's required. Any questions from the commissioners?
No, I think.
Just a statement, this is, from what I can see, this is basically where West Run meets Van Voorhees. It comes back to the curve, basically where it abuts up to the district. It's that area on both sides of the roads. There were several older homes that have recently been torn down in that area. There used to be a U-Haul place there. It looks like it's gone. So it, just to give a description of where this is. I think I'm correct, yeah. No, sounds good to me.
Okay. A point of order, Administrator McClure, I don't see the action under new business for us to take an action, which is typically the way we do this, is we close the public hearing and then we take an action item, an action. Is that an oversight or?
Yes.
Okay, so we will still proceed. We'll close the hearing and then we'll take an action on it. The purpose of the public hearing is to take an action, or do we need to move that to next week?
I mean, since you are taking official action and amending an ordinance, you probably should just move it to next week.
Okay. All right. Sorry for that technicality, but because it's not an agenda item, we'll have it as an agenda item and take an action next week. So we'd rather be transparent and perfectly clear when we do that. So if there's anything else, I'll go ahead and close the public hearing. Okay? Okay, public hearing's closed. Next item on the agenda, Colleen Kuhn, grants? No grants? Okay. Correspondence?
I have none. I don't know if you all had any last week while I was gone.
Okay. Tom, do you have any?
No, I didn't see
Okay,
it.
no.
Quiet week?
Slow week for correspondence.
Kiss of death.
Unfinished business. None. New business. To consider for approval a confidentiality agreement with CNX Resources Corporation.
Move for approval.
You have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Okay. This is discussions that we're having regarding broadband and right-of-way access. So it's fairly straightforward. We shared it with our legal counsel, and they provided no issues. So we have a first and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, reports from elected officials and/or department supervisors. Assessor Music, how are you today?
Good morning, John.
Morning.
Just a briefing, just to update our field work that's going on. We're just finishing Westover, and Monday we'll be starting Morgan District, so just to keep you abreast of that.
Okay,
Outside of that, nothing.
Good.
all right, thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thanks, Mark.
Okay, reports from county commissioners. Jeff?
Just to kind of piggyback on what Mr. Goldberg was saying, you're starting to see the cancellations and the delays. The largest school in Kanawha County is had to shut down with COVID. I mean, it's serious stuff, and it's even more serious as far as the illness as it was this time a year ago. I know my 9-year-old will be greatly disappointed when I learned this morning that 80s pop star Tiffany, who was scheduled to play at Tropics this Friday, has postponed due to a COVID issue. Believe it or not, she's still out there touring, and my 9-year-old loves her. So, but that has been postponed. So things are going to start happening again, and postponements in our lives that have seemingly gone back to normal to some extent this summer are going to change again. So please, if you're not, get vaccinated. Do the wash your hands and social distance as best you can, and let's try to get through this next phase.
Okay. Tom?
Tiffany moved from the malls to the tropics.
That's right.
That's it. First of all, school's open, and I know all of us are very concerned. Please, do not pass a bus if the red lights are on, and I can't stress that enough. And just also the other thing is, cause of weather, it's fog in the morning, so drive a little slower. Please be careful. We haven't had students on buses for roughly 15 months, so I think it's something we need to be very careful about. Second, I had a meeting with several Milan Park officials, and just so you know that we are discussing the suggestion of possibly offering free swimming lessons to all second graders in the school system, and that is progressing. So that's where we're at right now. Yesterday, the food bank director and staff came to Pantry Plus More, being that we're the only group in the state that actually not only has food programs, deliveries, but we also go to 192 families, and they wanted to actually experience what it was like. So they came and they saw how we loaded, then they drove off and went to 18 different families in a van, and they can't say enough about Mountain Air Food Bank and what they mean to this community, and also the relationship that they have with Pantry Plus More. It was really good. Also, I want to say that I spoke last night at the city council meeting. Real excited that representing the county commission, we have offered to have a meeting, and I asked in the next 4 weeks, anytime after 1 o'clock on a work session, and for us to have an agenda, but also said if they had items or issues too, and we would try, hopefully, be one of many. And I believe it was shocked and well received. So.
Since last meeting, last Thursday, I had my Development Authority Executive Committee meeting, and then had a extension building accounting discussion, and then we had our MMPO meeting. Friday, we had staff reports, and then we had a broadband initiative full committee meeting. This week was a light staff, or meeting week. Monday, we had a meeting with commission staff. Today's a regular meeting, and Friday, we have staff reports. I did listen to the city council meeting last night, just to hear Commissioner Bloom, and I was wondering, who's this eloquent spokesperson that, so artfully delivered a welcome to the
I wanted to
council.
represent you well.
You did a very good job, Tom. You did a really
Thank
good
you.
job. Thank Wendy, I guess.
Yes.
Whatever.
Wendy, yeah, Wendy.
Did she coach
yes.
you up?
Yes, she did.
As Commissioner Bloom said, it is the beginning of school, and I want to say I take my daughter to MHS in the morning, and I've never seen the level of congestion downtown around the school. So I think, wild guess is maybe a lot more people are, if kids going back to school, maybe they don't want to put their kids on a bus, so they're driving them, but it's made congestion really horrible. So please take extra time to get your kids to school. Due to the congestion, and as Commissioner Bloom said, please be careful around these buses. I do believe the mandatory vaccination efforts by the 2 hospitals have been taken note of statewide and nationally. We have been talking about next steps for a while, and it's something certainly we're going to look at and talk with all of our county officials and see if what next steps that we want to take. I think the action we took last week with the change of the policy is one small step, one dipping the toe in the water to kind of see what we can do. I mean, the end result isn't to harm our employees. It's just to, protect our employees and protect the public. And as Ben, I can't help but comment about, I did take offense to an editorial that the Dominion Post had in the paper where they seemed to imply that Republicans are the only ones that aren't getting vaccinated. That's not helpful to the cause, and I know that's not you, that's your editorial board, but it's frankly despicable that they blame one group of people for that, and it's certainly not helpful. So I usually don't pay attention to anything that's written in the editorial section of the Dominion Post, but I did want to point that out, that I was particularly disgusted with that. So please relay that to your editorial board. This weekend, I went away to, I was spending the weekend at the New River Gorge. It was my wife's 50th birthday, so I want to wish Jackie happy birthday. So we did something special to celebrate it, and it was fun just getting away for a week. So having said that, is there anything else?
I moved to adjourn. I hope to see Tiffany.
Second.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. We're adjourned.